Hey friends, this is Marilyn from Tarot Clarity, and today we'll get into a reading. I don't know what the topic will be, but we'll figure it out. And before I do that, I just want to touch base on a few things. The Kickstarter for the Rosenwald Redux has started. It runs from November 10th, this past few days, until December 13th. And I've done a few videos already on it that you will have seen before this one. And, check it out. I'll include links on every video that I do on the Rosenwald Redux. I'll have links to the Kickstarter for you. Another thing I want to mention is a big thanks to Kay Hahn, who's a subscriber or a viewer who has helped me so much with getting my peacock bowl, trying to get it back. Some of you who have been with me for a while know that I guess it was like early, like February, March of this, or I don't know when it was, but it was early in this year. And I did a spell, and I welcomed some of you to join me. I don't know how many of you did, whereby, I just, included things in my favorite bowl, my peacock bowl, if you can see the peacock in there. It's a brass bowl. And I shouldn't have used this bowl. I should have used like a cheap Pyrex bowl or something, or a plastic bowl, instead of using my magical bowl. But it sat for, well, months. It sat for months, and it began to take on, even though I refreshened the water, and I did what I could to keep the spell like healthy, but it became fetid. If I can find a before photograph, I'll show it to you. The bowl, I thought it was going to be a loss, and I was like holding it with like vinyl, latex gloves, and the things that were in it that I used, the charms and the stones that I used, are still sanitizing in my utility sink. That's how bad it got. So it took on, like, I called it like the bowl of Dorian Gray, because it took on the ugliness of who. And it got to the point where when we see him now, he's on his own, collapsing with his health and his, it's just like, my job is done. This worked its charm, and it was time to reclaim my bowl. And there's still some damage. There's discoloration. Some of it's worse than other areas, but all the green, it's incredibly much improved than it was. So you see the nature of the discoloration, However, I can use it. And as Kahan had said, they're battle scars, they're the scars of having done a service. So I feel that way too. And this bowl will be in commission next for my members only contest. So those of you who join the contest, by watching the video that says members contest, follow the instructions. You have to put your name in there. I'm not putting your name in there for you. You got to put your name in there. And then we'll pull it, we'll pull it at the end of, the end of November. I'm not sure exactly when, but, I'll make a big announcement and everything like that. And I'll put the names in this bowl. So there we have it. Okay. Today's deck I'm going to use is the Tarot Classic, which is a deck, one of the earliest decks I had, certainly from the 70s or, oops, it's upside down, from the 70s or very early 80s. I did have a box with it, but I think I purchased it in the wrong box. In those days, they would have been sealed, in the box and out of the box, but this box might not have been sealed. And when people would take the decks out to look at them, even though the decks themselves were sealed, they might not have put it in the right box. So it came in a Fournier Tarot of Marseille, which I have a copy of, but I don't have the copy I have would not have been printed from when this box came. So I think that my Tarot Classic was sold to me in the wrong box, you know, but that's the box it's been in for the past 50 years or whatever. And I think this deck might be out of print by now, and I buy another one to replace it to keep this one fresh. But unlike decks like the Tarot of the Witches by Fergus Hall or any others that are still in print, this one's not in print. So any deck that I buy to replace this is already just as old, you know what I'm saying? So this is a deck that, although it's not retired, I don't use it as much because I'm trying to preserve it because it's getting old. So let me come up with a question and we'll get started. Although I have been critical of the Democrats who folded, you know, for opening up the government, the one maybe silver lining is that Grijalva, I apologize, I massacred her name, will hopefully be sworn in. Hopefully she'll be sworn in, and hopefully, you know, the Republicans didn't hound any other Republicans into dropping their support for releasing the e-files. So hopefully that will happen. And hopefully she gets sworn in. Hopefully there's nothing else that snafus it. Hopefully she gets sworn in now that the government is open, and hopefully those files get released. It just, at this stage, you know, it's like, we're so used to disappointment, you know, due to the corruption. We're just so used to like corruption, corrupt move after corrupt maneuver over and over and over again that it almost feels like, even now, you know, like I'll believe it when I see it that she's been sworn in, and I'll believe it when I see it that it's been voted on, and I'll believe it when I see it that action will be taken if his name is all over those files. It's really gotten to the point where I believe it where I see it, you know, because when I see it, because that's how thick the corruption is. Well, I guess after everything I just said, the most obvious thing to do would be to just see how that goes, you know, the signing in and also the voting on that topic of the e-files. Now, I think I did a reading a couple months ago, maybe, on what had to happen first before the e-files. I think it was about that. And, you know, when I do a reading, I'm so zoned in, I don't really remember everything I say. So I do have to go back and look at the video. And see, you know me, you know how I roll. I like to go back and visit readings that I've done in the past, or once a decision was made or whatever, I like to go back and take a look at them. Now, I know there was a recent decision on a video I did a while ago on the Supreme Court overruling, or, you know, returning the marriage laws to, you know, previously that all gender preferences or whatever couldn't get married, right? And the reading, I know that one because it stuck out of my head. You know, I was as hopeful. I know the reading indicated that. I think the last card was the Lover's card, and my diagnosis was lovers are going to love. So I'm happy. I'm really happy that was not overturned. Really happy about that. And I will go back and take a look at what I said about the e-files being released, something that had to happen ahead of time. But I don't know. I don't remember it. But let's see how this swearing in will go, if it does go, and then, you know, see what we can see regarding how the voting will go. So we're going kind of asking for multiple aspects. So hopefully this signature spread that I use will deliver that for us. 4 of Swords. Very careful choice of words, very deliberate protecting. Could be protecting an agenda, could be protecting words, could be protecting, you know, walking on tiptoes until something happens could be also an aspect of it. Then we have 7 cups. So there's hope. I see 7 as a number of transition, of moving forward. And and cups being a suit of, could, in the context of this question, could represent empathy, compassion, getting hopes up. So it's like cautious optimism here. I get a sense of cautious optimism between these 2 cards, and the cards are a little warped, unfortunately, so they're not laying flat. We have 10 of coins. So somebody's done. Somebody's finished. Now, the suit of coins can mean a few things. I mean, if you have 10 coins, you could say, a business deal or something is going to be very lucrative. It could mean that. But it could also mean oversaturation to the point of it not being good. And, the problem, it has all along been a problem with oligarchs. But it could be their time has run out to some degree, with this optimism, cautious optimism, could give them concern. And I know some of them are complaining that, like, they're done. Some of them actually have the temerity to speak and say, if they gain momentum and they win, we're all going to jail. But, well, because they're admitting that they're all criminals, So that could be their sense of they're done. They could be feeling that they're done. Okay, so we have a penetration. Okay, good. Action, growth. Front and center of the core 9 regarding this issue or both of these issues. The Empress. Well, that's interesting since, of course, Ms. Grijalva, and I do apologize because I know I didn't know I was going to talk about her. I didn't realize that was going to be a topic for this video. And if I had realized that ahead of time, I would have looked up her name and written it down properly. So she kind of holds some of the cards, right? They got to do it. Now, if they don't do it, with the government being open, that's a whole other level of corruption, right? But they're kind of beholden to do it. Ace of Batons, the people expect it, right? We'll see what card falls over here as the Quint. But she kind of holds some of the cards here. We have a perfect number 6 of batons. The people have spoken. The people chose her. The people expect her to take her place, her rightful place. This shows the community being content or happy with that. Oh gosh, we have so many swords. Now we have 7. So she's flanked up and down with 7 cups and 7 swords. And the swords is pointing up to her. We have a few cards that suggest upward, right? Upward activity. And even this in a way, but the hand is coming from over here, so it's being thrust. That's interesting. So moving forward. Compassionately, empathetically, emotionally, and also pushing an agenda forward. So she's kind of, whoever this Empress is, and I'm thinking maybe it is Grijalva, is front and center of it. Ooh. And we have 10 batons. So there's going to be an escalation of something where the people have hope and the people are feeling good about the forward motion and protecting the agenda that she represents. But then there's maybe another agenda that's like slowly building up. And then the people, we have 2 10s, right? We have the oligarchs 10 and we have the people's 10. And in between them, we have a burst of energy being presented to the queen, to the empress, from who we'll have to see. Let's peek at it. We have a 3 and a 4. Well, a 3 and a 1 is 4. And then the empress, oh, so we have 7. Okay, so that would be the chariot. This is my signature spread. For those of you who are not familiar with my signature spread, I have a tutorial on my signature spread. If I think of it, I'll include it in this video. If I don't, if I forget to do it and you prompt me, I'll definitely put it in there for you. I respond to all my messages if I see them. And I think I see, just about all of them, because I make it my business to see and comment to everything. It's very rare that I don't respond to something. And even the people that I end up hiding from my channel, I respond to them before I do that. So, at any rate, let me go off and add up the quints. Alrighty, and so for the quint card, since it's already in play, I had to take it from the Spanish Tarot deck by Fournier. It was just handy sitting next to my table. And for those of you who are geeks and interested in this thing, if you saw my series on Otis Picard's tarot deck, for his Triumph cards, he used as inspiration the same deck that the Spanish Tarot used for inspiration, which was a Italian deck by a guy named, I think his name was Giuseppe Ottone, from 1736, but that's just some trivia there. Okay, so interesting. It's always very interesting when a quint card is in line with the row of the card that's already represented. And in this case, both of these cards are quint cards. And I had mentioned a few times, let's see where this hand is coming from. Well, it's coming in a double dose from advancement and moving forward. So it looks like an affirmative to me that she will be affirmed. She'll be given, that, I said it, I used the word opportunity, but that power, So that will come to fruition. We see the World card, which is a most fortuitous card, suggesting the same thing. This row is the most troublesome because this row could suggest delays maybe, or it could just, suggest, now they work together, okay? Batons and swords, it's not like they're fire and wood or earth and air, right? They work together, but to what ends? And then when we see what ends, we have a card of, trickery or deception. Remember, these are pre-occultist decks, right? They're not decks that have the occultist agenda of manifestation, although we do see, we could see the manifest, well, that's not even manifestation either, but the occultist would see the presence of both of these cards, the World card and this card, is like manifestation, right? Excuse me for taking a sip of tea. But, I see this as manipulation, deception, and although this does not say that, of course, but we have, we could see it as completion. It comes on a row right after a 10, and there's another 10 here somewhere. I think here's the 10. So this to me could suggest completion of achieving one's goal. Not necessarily, I guess you could see it as a manifestation, but of achieving the goal in the context of this question, which was, will she be sworn in as she should be? And it does look like progress, right, in that direction. And she will have accomplished that. And these other cards supported that. But this row, there could be something about it. There could be something that complicates the matter, even though they seemingly work together as batons. It's kind of suspect because of this here. And I got an ill at ease feeling with this even before I laid this card down. So we'll have to see. And for my own edification, I'm going to go back and see if I can find the video I did on what has to happen before the e-files are, released. Because she might be sworn in, but there might be some trickery and deception regarding that particular issue. And I just want to go back and refresh my memory. And if some of you remember it, or if you can refresh my memory for me, put it down there, what the outcome of that video was, or that reading was. Until next time, friends, thank you for being here. Again, if you're a member, put your name on the to enter into this contest. I think it's a decent win, right? And until next time, peace, stay well, be brave, be kind, and moving forward, show up, speak up, and vote.